What's going on, everybody?
Yo, yo, yo.
Welcome to Two Dads in a Pod.
That's
And
right.
if it's your first
Episode
time,
3.
if it's your first time, welcome. And if you guys have been here for the last 2 episodes, welcome back.
Yeah. Don't forget to, before we get started, subscribe, comment, share all of our episodes, our shorts, all that stuff. We're working hard to try and bring you guys a better product every single week. We're getting better at this every week, right? I feel like we've been improving. Yeah.
We
First week was hard. Second week was a little bit easier.
yeah.
I feel like this week, upcoming week will be even better.
So we're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, RSS, and
I think that's it for now. Yeah. Well, eventually we'll find a way to get into getting our podcast posted on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. We'll see how that goes. I'm not sure how we'll find it. We'll find a way. We're working on that.
But yeah. So I'm your co-host Chase Wade, and that is
Travis Niles.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if you've been following along, first week we talked about where we come from. So we followed our testimony. We both shared our testimonies, and pretty heavy, Second week we talked about where we are now. It was a little bit lighter, and we ended that week with a little bit of football talk. And this week we're solely focused on football.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
as you guys know, I'm a Georgia fan. He is a Florida fan.
Yeah.
We both traveled to Georgia, where my family's from. We both went there this weekend to watch the game, and the outcome went into my favor. Dogs on top. And Travis, if you will remind the audience, our score debate. What was your score prediction, and what was my score prediction?
First things first. All right. We went into that game. It was fully possible that we could have gotten an upset. And anybody who watched the first several possessions of that game, with how sloppy Georgia was playing, there was definitely a potential for an upset until our starting quarterback got hurt. And then after that, we didn't pass. We struggled to pass the ball after that. So it was. I just want to remind everybody where I was coming from. Okay, and if you watch the first part of that game, you'll understand why. Second, yes, my score prediction was 27-24 for the upset. Look back to the last 5 seconds. We talk about that. And then Chase's guess was 31-17. So that leaves me what? I said you guys had 24. It's 10-point swing in your favor, and then a 7-point swing against me. So I was off in total by 17 points from the final score. We ended up losing 34-20, right?
I was off 6 points.
Yeah, Chase was off 6 points. Chase's father said the score is going to be 34-20. He was only
No, he
off.
said 34-17. Yeah, 34-17.
He was only off by 3 points. So he had Georgia scoring 34. So, yeah, man.
Now, I will tell you guys, the first quarter of that game was wild. If you guys didn't watch it, or if you did watch it, you know what I'm talking about. But it was just insane. Georgia started with the ball. They received the kickoff. Carson Beck threw an interception.
Yep.
First series, second series.
I think it was second series.
Yeah, probably second series. But he goes and throws an intercept. If he three and out or whatever it was. I'll just pull it up.
Yeah, I want to pull up the GameCast right now.
Yeah, so we punted first series. Florida got the ball. They punted first series. We actually scored a field goal our second series.
Yeah.
So it was 3-0. Then Florida punted again. Then the starting quarterback for Georgia, Carson Beck, threw an interception. And then from that interception, DJ Lagway, the starting quarterback for the Florida Gators, threw a beautiful touchdown.
Yeah.
So
43 yards.
So the score went 7-3. Georgia got the ball back. Carson Beck threw another interception, which led to Florida scoring a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
Made it 10-3. Then we had to punt. They punted. We punted again. They punted again.
Yep.
We scored a field goal, so now the score is 10-6 in Florida's favor. Then they scored a field goal in the next possession, so it was 13-6. So going into halftime, we have 13-6. But in that time of the second quarter, DJ Lagway went out.
Yep.
He got hurt. Did it ever come out what was wrong?
We haven't heard. I haven't heard anything yet. The last thing I saw was that the coach said that it was less significant than they thought it would be, and there's a potential, very unlikely, but there is a potential he actually could play this upcoming week.
Really?
Yeah,
It looked pretty
which is
bad.
crazy. Yeah,
It was just a non-contact hamstring injury. It was just weird.
Which that's all they put, which tells me that it was probably a strain or some sort, and then that coupled with, I mean, we've all been there. We've all had a couple strains before. Some of them are light. Some of them you feel like you might have ripped something up, and then they take a look at it, and then it's, it was just, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe, a partial, like, it might have been like a minor tear, or, there's no telling unless they take him and get a MRI to see the muscles. We'll never know.
Well, regardless of the injury, I never like to see a player get hurt because these college players are playing like they play so passionately just to make it to the next level, and they leave their heart out on the field. And he was having a good game until that point. And I just hate to see anybody get an injury, especially college players, because that could be, you never know if it's a career-ending injury.
That's so true, so true.
But going on into the third quarter, Florida gets the kickoff. They go 3-and-out. And then Georgia gets the ball. Carson Beck throws another interception. So we're on 3 interceptions. And I'm over here just thinking, this game is just done. Done for. Right? And Travis is all happy, just hyped, and yeah. And he makes a bet. He makes a bet like, if we lose, me and my dad got to wear Florida shirts. And then my dad says, well, Travis, if you lose, you got to wear my jersey.
Stinking bet, man. Stinking bet.
Moving on is he throws an interception. Florida does absolutely nothing with it. They go 3-and-out. On the next possession, Georgia goes 8 plays down the field, 83 yards, scores a touchdown. So now the score is 13-13.
Yep.
It's tied up. Florida fumbles the ball on their next possession. Georgia gets it back, scores another touchdown. Goes 20-13. And at this point, I'm all excited. I'm like, all right, this game is turning around. The offense is moving a little bit. Carson Beck is actually starting to get into a rhythm, throwing the ball good. So it is 13-20. The Gators get the ball back. They go 3-and-out again. Georgia gets the ball. They fumble the ball. Florida gets the ball back from the fumble, but Florida does absolutely nothing with it. And they go 3-and-out again. So the score remains 20-13 in Georgia's favor. Georgia gets the ball back, goes 3-and-out. And then Florida Gators score a touchdown on their next possession. So they tie the game 20-20. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
This is insane. So now Georgia gets the ball back again. We go 2 plays, 7 yards. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Wrong one. We go 7 plays, 75 yards. We score a touchdown. So the score is now 27-20. Your third string quarterback throws an interception. 2 plays later, Georgia scores again, 34-20. And Florida gets one more chance. They go 8 plays, but eventually turnover on downs on 4th down, and Georgia knees the ball and wins the game.
Yeah.
And that being said, I have some great videos and pictures of Travis wearing a Georgia jersey.
Unfortunately. But next year, you guys will be wearing Florida jerseys.
That is not true.
You will be. Although
No.
I'll say this.
Because I will say one thing before you say that. It's not true
Yeah.
because I 100% guarantee your coach will be fired. And
Exactly.
y'all will rebuild again. So
No.
it's just this never ending cycle of Florida rebuilding.
No. We're not. We're gonna
This is
listen. Lane
4
Kiffin,
straight wins.
Lane Kiffin's coming in and he's putting in work for us. But
What's
I am a little.
What's Lane Kiffin's record against Kirby Smart?
Listen, he's never had a program like Florida behind him. All right, we're really listen. If we don't have a third string quarterback who looks like he just got out of middle school yesterday, all right, it's a whole other story. That's a whole other story. But we'll see what happens.
That's funny.
We
if I was Lane Kiffin, I wouldn't go to Florida.
I don't know if hopefully they will, but with the divisions gone, I wonder if they'll allow us to keep that game. Because this year we don't play South Carolina, and I wonder what the alternating game will be.
I think they're keeping constants. So I think Florida and Georgia will always play, just like Alabama and Auburn will always play. They're gonna keep the huge keep the huge rival games.
Yeah.
So they've already said that they're keeping certain constant games. Like we're always gonna play Georgia Tech at the end of the year. That's never gonna change. Y'all will always play Florida State.
Good. So I wonder if we'll swap out like Ole Miss or in Texas. Or
yeah,
like
so
that,
you're
Vanderbilt and USC.
Yeah, there's gonna be a rotation. It's not gonna be the same teams every year.
Okay, that's what I was worried about.
Kind of how they did, like kind of how you had to run through the West.
Yeah.
Every other year, you'd play certain different teams in the West. It's gonna be the same thing.
Gotcha.
But
we didn't. Well, let's listen. I can see Georgia had a fantastic game. They turned it around. They picked it up. Put us back in our place. What do you think is going to be the turnout now, or the what do you think? Because not only did that happen, right? On the flip side, South Carolina beat Texas A&M.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah. So
pretty bad.
The SEC championship game now.
Man, it could go so many ways because right now there's like at least 4 teams in the SEC right now that have 1 loss. There's no undefeated teams in the SEC anymore.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 teams that have a loss.
1 loss.
1 loss in conference.
Yeah, conference. Texas.
It is
Texas,
LSU,
Georgia, LSU,
Texas, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Georgia.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I could foresee Texas A&M losing again in the conference. So I don't think that they'll make it to the championship. Alabama's out because they're 2 losses.
Yeah, they're 2 losses.
Texas is struggling.
Yeah.
After the loss to Georgia.
Yeah. But they'll be back on their feet next week. They're playing us.
Yeah, but I mean, they struggled against Vanderbilt.
That's so true. I mean, it depends on what we do with our quarterback. There's no telling what could happen.
And honestly, I could see, not toot my own horn, but I could see it being Georgia to LSU. Oh. LSU's on a roll right now.
Yeah, yes they are. Yes, they are.
Yep. I mean, we're gonna have a tough game this week against Ole Miss because Jackson Dart is absolutely lighting it up over there.
Yeah.
He threw 515 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's insane. But I mean, all in all, outside of the SEC, because we're not just all about the SEC. There was some upsets in the top 10 this week.
There were. What were the? Let's talk about that. What were some of the bigger upsets this week?
So,
Let's see.
some of the big upsets this week is I'm going to pull up the current rankings right now. So, right now we have Oregon at number 1, Georgia at number 2, Ohio State at number 3, Miami at number 4. Texas jumped back up to 5. Penn State.
Did the rankings already come out yet? The official rank? Oh, that's
Yeah,
tomorrow for the official rankings, right? The playoff ranking.
the playoff rankings, yeah. But this is the AP poll. So
Okay.
Penn State lost to Ohio State. So, the number 3 and the number 4 team played each other. Ohio State came out on top. So Penn State actually dropped to number 6. Tennessee remained the same because they didn't have a game. A&M dropped because A&M dropped 5 spots, so they were 10. Now they're down to 15.
Mm-hmm.
A big surprise for me was Clemson losing
Yes. Oh,
to
that was a bad one
Louisville.
too. Yeah, that
That's
was
a
a bad
that's a
loss.
that's a conference game too.
That's a conference game. Yeah.
So is that two? No, that's just one conference loss for them.
Yeah, that's just one for them. That was their first one.
Yep. Because right now, if you did not know, you know how there's always been like how they always say the Power Five.
Yeah.
There's no longer 5 conferences; it's 4.
Correct. Yeah.
So what they have said is the winners of the conference championships automatically get the first round bye in the playoffs. So the 4 winners get the bye, and then the other remaining 8 teams have to play each other in the first week.
Yeah.
So Clemson is still sitting good. They're still sitting first in their conference. So I don't think Clemson fans have to worry about anything like that. But
No.
them poor Alabama fans, even though they're back up to 11, you know,
Yep.
they're not getting a first round bye. That's for sure. Let's talk about Boise State.
Boys. Oh, I was waiting for us to get to that. What is going to happen with Boise State?
Because Boise State, if some of you guys do not know, have a running back right now that
Stupid good.
is having literally a historic season in college football.
Yep.
This guy, his name is, if I pronounce it wrong, don't hate me, Ashton Giante or Genty or whatever. He has this season alone 190 carries, 1,525 yards rushing, 20 touchdowns, and he's averaging 8 yards a carry.
Yeah.
That is unheard of. If this man does not win Heisman, the Heisman committee has failed.
Here's the question: Who else would even be on the in the realm of getting a Heisman right? Because it's not like anybody's doing a phenomenal job right now.
Yeah, I know, but there are some quarterbacks out there, but
I mean, there's some quarterbacks doing good, but they're not like. I mean, actually, this week, who stands out still, right? Because Shadur was one of those guys.
you have
Cam
you have
Ward.
you have Cam Ward, you have Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart has 3,210 passing yards
Yes.
in what 8 games?
8 games. Yeah.
He has 21 touchdowns for 3 interceptions. That's pretty good for a college quarterback.
Yeah.
In a season. And then Cam Ward is 3,146 yards, 29 touchdowns for 6 interceptions.
Yeah.
Which is also pretty good.
When does Heisman voting close? Does it close before playoffs? Right.
Yeah. After championship games.
Yeah. So Ole Miss. So does Jackson Dart not being in the they have to win out. But is there a potential if Ole Miss misses the SEC championship game and Miami goes to into the ACC championship game and they win? I think Cam Moore gets that edge uh, over Jackson Dart for that reason.
I don't know, because Caleb Williams won last year. Or not last year. Caleb Williams won a couple years ago now, and he never went to the playoffs.
Yeah, but USC has that media machine behind them.
Yeah, but Jaden Daniels, another example. He didn't go to the SEC championship,
that's true.
And he, he won.
That is very true.
So the college really. I like how they judge college off better than the NFL, because they actually go off accolades and not the media and who's the bigger face.
If you look at their stats, right? Jackson Dart is what
he has more passing yards, but he's got less touchdowns.
Yeah, significantly less, right? Because Cam Moore's got 29. He's got
Jackson
21
Dart
receptions, but he's got 29 touchdowns.
Jackson Dart has 21.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
eight. Good.
It's 8 touchdowns, but it's also 3 less interceptions. But he has almost 100 more yards than him thrown.
Yeah.
But realistically, that's still for a running back to score 20 touchdowns and have 1,500 yards in 8 games is insane.
Yeah, and with we still got good grief. We've still got 1, 2, 3, 6 games left. If he doesn't get hurt, I don't even know what to say. Well, if he does not get hurt,
there's only 4 games left in the season.
No, because we're in week 10, right? So next week's week 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 6 weeks left before the bowls.
Yeah, but they only play 12 games in NFL in college.
Do they? Mm-hmm. They got 16 weeks up on here. You sure about that?
Yeah, I promise. Because you got to remember, each team gets 2 byes.
Oh yeah, forget there's 2 byes now.
Mm-hmm.
So that means they get 14 games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dang, I forgot there's 2 byes.
Well, you got to remember, like when the only reason I know that is because when Georgia went undefeated that season in 2021.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry, 2022. We were 15-0. And that was including the SEC championship and the playoffs and the national championship. We were 15-0.
So I'm guessing weeks 15 and 16 are probably going to be the first 2 rounds of playoffs.
Well, it'll be 13, 14 and 15.
14, 15 would be the first round playoffs. Then, because if you have the bye, right?
Well, there might be another bye after the championships.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the new system is going to go yet, but
I believe the semifinals are going to be 2 bowl games. They already picked what are the bowl games going to be for the semifinals?
I don't know. I didn't know that they named them yet.
Yeah, let's see.
But regardless, if Ashton does not win the Heisman, something's wrong. Let's be realistic here, though. The Heisman and the MVP nowadays are quarterback awards.
Yes, it is.
Like, who was the last running back to win the Heisman?
Was it Adrian?
It was Derrick Henry.
Oh, was there? Oh. That's true. And they did it with historic seasons. So you know what? It's very possible that Ashton does the same thing as well.
I mean, he's having a better season than Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Did.
Yep.
And Devontae Smith, the wide receiver, won it. I think in 2020, I think.
Mm-hmm.
and that's the
Here's
first wide receiver to win in a long time.
here's the bowl games that are playoffs. It's the Fiesta Bowl, Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, and
Okay.
Sugar Bowl. Those are all the quarterfinal bowls.
Uh-huh.
And the semifinal bowls are the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should have
And then you
known
have the
that.
championship game the 20th.
Rose
2 weeks
Bowl is
before
always the Rose Bowl is always
Bowl.
going to be up in there.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
the Rose Bowl used to be the biggest. It used to be
It
the
used to be, yeah, until
used to be
they
the
started
championship.
the BCS,
Mm-hmm.
BCS Bowl Championship.
Yeah, and then they went away with that, and now
Yeah.
it's the CFP. But
Because they got tired, everybody got tired of seeing like Rose Bowl pretty much guaranteed USC in the Rose Bowl. And once we started BCS, I mean, USC fell off hard. Well, I won't say hard, but they just strength of schedule mattered. Once strength of schedule started getting considered, changed everything. So yeah.
How about Army being undefeated this late in the season, being ranked for the first time since like the 80s?
Exactly. Here's the question: Are they going to make it into the top 25? I mean, not top 25, into the playoffs.
If they keep winning,
yeah. Because I don't know how you keep them out, right? Because that I mean, that was always Boise's problem. Because Army right now, they're 21, they're undefeated, they're ranked 21 as of last week. I don't know what they are right now, the week being over, but they were ranked 21st. And so see, this week they're ranked.
I mean, I have a feeling that they could make
18.
it. You know, if
they
they
could definitely make it.
if they just got to keep winning. I mean, they're about to have a hard game because they're about to play Notre Dame, which actually no, they have to
No,
play
they got
Notre
North Texas next week.
Yeah, they have to this week. They have to then they play Notre Dame next week.
Yeah.
Which Notre Dame's not a cakewalk, you know.
Nope.
But
Notre Dame's number 10. So Notre Dame's having a good year too.
Yeah, they are. And look, Vanderbilt came back into the rankings. They're number 24.
Yep.
Which Vanderbilt's knocked off some pretty good teams this year, man. Like Vanderbilt might be building a program.
Maybe. Let's not get carried away.
I mean, they have a better record than y'all.
I'll be darned if next year. Listen, this year's always a wash for us. I'm not even. You know, we're on our second string quarterback right now. Our first string out for the season with ACL injury.
Yeah.
Our second string, God willing, hopefully he doesn't get hurt again, but he's probably going to miss this week because of the hamstring. Because you don't usually bounce back in 1 week from a hamstring injury. Because as soon as you think you're good, you go to run, and it's just, it's usually like 3 or 4 weeks. So his seasons pretty much might be over, and he's a very athletic and mobile guy. So I don't see how he finishes this season. Now, granted, doctors and all that stuff, they can do a phenomenal job once they get to work. But it's I've hurt my hamstring before playing basketball, and it's when people are out 3 weeks with a strain like that, it's a real thing.
It's not a fast recovery.
Yeah,
I mean, you use that every day.
exactly,
and you don't even realize it.
Yeah,
but
like I'd rather hurt. It almost seems like it's more, or it's almost like a better recovery if you hurt your quads, so before you hurt your hamstring or your calf.
Because I mean, you like standing up, sitting down, like you use them muscles every day
for real. Yep.
But
all right, well, let's move on to college.
I was gonna ask.
Anything else you want to hit?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. I was gonna go back to SEC for a minute. I was gonna say.
Oh yeah.
How about Mississippi State coming in 0-5 in the conference right now, and like what?
Dude, giving way right to 4 new teams. Well, not 4 new teams, 2 new teams and 2 sophomore teams that are new to the conference, and they're letting them walk all over them. Dude, it makes no sense to me.
And like
Oklahoma,
welcome Oklahoma to the SEC.
Yeah.
You are 1-4 in the you are 1-4 in the conference.
Exactly.
No, Texas A&M been in the conference.
No. Texas A&M is a sophomore. I'm talking about the sophomore and the freshman teams. So Texas A&M and
well, what do you consider a sophomore team?
This is Texas A&M second year in the conference, is it not?
No, Texas
What?
A&M has been in the conference for a long time.
Am I mistaken then?
Oh yeah,
Who came in last year?
because you got to remember Alabama and Texas A&M have like had feuds. Remember when Johnny Manziel was there? They could never stop. Alabama could never stop Johnny Manziel.
Was that you sure that wasn't Oklahoma that couldn't stop Johnny Manziel?
Promise.
Oh man, maybe I'm mistaken.
That was
Let's
like Nick
find out.
Saban's. Johnny Manziel was Nick Saban's kryptonite. Seriously, like Johnny Manziel would just destroy him.
Let's see.
Google it. Let me know when they join the conference. They've been in
Oh,
there a
you're
long
right.
time.
Ooh, taking a bath on this. I keep losing to you this week. They joined in 2012.
Yeah, they've
2012
been
is
in
when they
there.
joined.
Yeah, they've been in there 12
Dude,
years.
my sense of time in terms of years is way off.
So
Way
the
off.
newest teams, if I'm not mistaken, are Oklahoma, obviously, Texas, obviously, and then I want to say Arkansas.
No, Arkansas has been there.
And when did they join? It's been in the last 10
Arkansas
years.
joined in 1992. Arkansas Cyclones
Arkansas?
joined in 1992. Yeah, Missouri
Okay.
and Texas A&M came in 2012. And then Texas and Oklahoma came in 2024.
Okay.
Yeah. Golly, it took 12 years for us to expand from Missouri and Texas A&M to Texas and Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I was in my head. I was thinking in 2012. I remember back then when it happened. I was thinking it was going to happen much faster than that.
Yeah.
I feel
But
like the talk around that was much faster. Am I wrong in that?
say that again.
I want to say back in 20, like initially when Missouri and A&M joined, I felt like the talk was about adding Texas and Oklahoma shortly after that.
No, Texas
And
and
it's been
Oklahoma.
12
Texas.
years.
So Texas and Oklahoma. Um, it's been about 4 years since they were going
Yeah,
to join, because they have to vote to get voted in,
yeah,
and they have to go through the like whole buyout process with
yeah. Buying themselves
all
out of the
that.
other conference and all
Mm-hmm.
their TV deals and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm just ready
but
for us to create our own uh, college football, just athletic, like outside of the NCAA.
well, a lot of conferences are talking about leaving the NCAA. So, I mean, it's possible,
Yeah. Let's see.
but as a whole, Travis, correct me if I'm wrong, but as a whole, well, not really if I'm wrong, but do you feel the same way? As a whole, football in general, college and the NFL is just a very weird season.
I so so here's my thing. I may be off in terms of years. However, the talent I have and we talked about this some this weekend. There's a problem talent wise with football from at the college and NFL level right now. I noticed it years ago, probably 10, 15 years ago. That's the stretch. Probably about 10 years ago. I noticed it with linemen. Um, just the lack of development in offensive linemen coming out of college into NFL was starting to become a problem. Really started to become a problem probably over the last 6 years. You just kind of seen it deteriorate significantly. Right. Um, that's not to say that there are no good offensive linemen. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like the level of I won't just say talent, just the technical skill of being a lineman, whether it be defense or offense, over the last 6 years has just really just kind of
Mm-hmm.
fallen off. Um, and then at the college level, the lack of talent, or not lack of talent, the lack of QB skill, like technical skill at college, is just not that impressive anymore. Like there are really some guys who just guys are just slinging it, and that's not to say they can't throw. They guys have some strong arms, man, but like the level of guys who are just they know what they're doing and then able to take that to the NFL and have it translate. It's just not there anymore.
Not a dig at Florida, but Anthony Richardson is a perfect example of what you're talking about right now, because the dude has a cannon for an arm. He can throw a 60-yard pass on a dime, but he cannot complete a 5 to 10-yard pass because his accuracy, he's not accurate, but he can throw it downfield.
Yeah.
But this is like, those quick little slants or, little post routes, like he's not able to hit those because like the vision, I feel like quarterback vision is not there anymore. And I also feel like the short passes, because everybody wants to be a dual threat quarterback now and run the ball. Because they want, I feel like quarterbacks want to be highlight players.
Yep.
And right now the NFL is a heavy passing league.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been for like the last 10 years or so. Because like it used to be a run first offense, most everybody back in the day run first, run pass, that was the standard. But now it's like, first possession of the game, you're chucking the ball 50 yards downfield.
Yeah. I mean, and the Patriots really made it famous with the essentially getting rid of the run because they used a lot of dinking and dunking because they made that their run instead of handing it off and instead of doing all the swing throws for handoffs. They just did, hey, you just go 1 or 2 yards and we're throwing the ball to you and just helping you get the ball further down the field.
Well, I mean, you guys,
to going for
you guys have also had the best quarterback to ever play the game. Like
that's true.
Like, I mean, Tom Brady is literally the definition of vision.
Yes,
QB vision. Like
the guy saw everything.
Like he is the definition of a game manager.
Yeah.
And just all time QB vision, man. Like And like I feel like he could just read a sack like when it's coming. He has like that spidey sense. Like he was just that good. Like he ran when he needed to.
Mm-hmm.
It was very few and far between.
He didn't get far, but he got what he needed to. But that's the crazy thing too, right? Because like when Brady was doing his thing, right, you could look at the league across 32 teams and say there were probably 5 elite QBs, right?
I can name
most seasons there were always 5, right? It was Brady, Manning, Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, and then usually the 5th one was always like the guy who was like, all right, we wasn't quite sure or not, but it was Andrew Luck, right? Those are the
Drew.
5
Did
guys.
you say Drew Brees?
Andrew Luck.
Did you say Drew Brees?
No, I didn't say Drew Brees, and that's because Drew Brees usually jumped in between that 5 position, right? Usually that bottom 4 or 5 position was usually a toss up between like the tier 1 elite guys and the tier 2 elite guys, right? And that was always
dude. Drew Brees was considered to be one of the most accurate quarterbacks in NFL history.
Yeah, but during the time that Brady and Manning was in the league, you put Drew Brees at number 3. Actually, that's a fair assessment. No, I think I'd put him over Ben Roethlisberger.
I say Drew Brees is a better quarterback than Peyton Manning.
You think Drew Brees is a better quarterback than Peyton Manning? Hot take, guys. Hot take alert.
Pull up their stats.
Oh man, definitely.
Pull up their stats and tell me if I'm wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Career yards, touchdowns, interceptions, games won, years played.
Oh, apparently this is a hot debate on Reddit as well. I just saw it was one of the first things that came up was on Reddit. Excuse me. All right, so what stat do you want to pull up first?
Pull them both up side by side.
Side by side. I got you. Can I share this? Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this. Oh, here we go. Can you see this?
I can.
Yeah. All right. Here it
Mm-hmm.
is.
Games
All right.
played, right? Drew
Yep.
Brees has 287 to Peyton Manning's 266. So they were like
Yep.
20. They were like 21 off from each other,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Look at the passing yards.
Yeah.
Look at the
Golly.
look at the passing yards per game. Look at the passing touchdowns. Look at the interceptions, the passer rating, the rushing attempts, the rushing yards. You know, obviously
But here's the question.
Peyton Manning has 2 Super Bowls, correct?
Yeah, Peyton Manning Super
One
Bowls.
is debated a farewell Super Bowl,
You're not wrong. You're
right?
not wrong. They won
And
that with
I
defense.
and like I understand he has more Pro Bowls and All Pros, and obviously Peyton Manning's got 5 MVPs. But come
Yeah.
on, man, Peyton Manning is a household name. Like, he has the publicity around him. Like the MVP
Because is
award
that, yeah,
is just that it's an MVP award. It doesn't make sense to
TV
me.
award, yeah. So, but here's
But
the problem, though. Here's the problem,
yeah,
because where it matters, and this is where it translates, is right here, right? That's where it translates for how good these QBs are against each other. Because
what about it?
it's what did how good was Peyton Manning versus Drew Brees, and how much did what they do translates in game, and you can see right here. I mean, when you can look at passing yards, it's understandable that he got 9,000, uh, roughly 9,000 more passing yards, because uh, number one, he played in almost 20 more games. That's almost two. No, God, you can't even, realistically speaking, you can't really explain this difference. You really can't explain this difference. Not to
I'm
mention
just
when you factor in that Peyton Manning he had Marvin Harrison and Reggie
that's
Wayne,
that's what I'm
and then he
saying.
goes on to the Broncos, and he has what was the receiver he had? The receivers he had at
What I'm that's also what I'm saying is like
yeah,
look at the weapons that Peyton Manning has had and look at the weapons Drew Brees has had in his career,
that's
right?
very true.
So
Why isn't this? You know what? Because this is so crazy. Because my entire life, because I'm a Patriots fan. So for those you don't know, and I love Tom Brady. But my entire life, it was always Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady. Why in the world was Drew Brees never in that discussion?
well, why do you think Drew Brees is number 2 in all-time passing yards?
Yeah,
Because
I mean the guy
he's the
slings.
second best quarterback.
Yeah. Now, granted,
He's my number. Actually,
oh,
Ben Roethlisberger is number 2 for me.
Ben Roethlisberger's your number two guy.
I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's a winner, dude. Like he's just a winner.
He's a winner. But how much of that is a benefit, is a benefactor of him playing with head coaches that were more defensive oriented versus, because that was Peyton Manning's problem, right? Peyton Manning's problem was that his coaching staff and his team was always built for offense, never built for defense. Even though they've had good defensive players, it's not what we're saying. But it's unanimously understood that the Colts most years were offensive oriented, right? And I think that's the same problem with Drew Brees too, right? Drew Brees, during his tenure in New Orleans, arguably played in one of the most controversial and toughest divisions in the NFL, right? A lot of people look at that NFC East, and they think like, oh, there's a lot of bad play. It was like, was it bad play? Because Carolina Panthers for a lot of those years has some really good defenses, right? Between Dan Morgan and then Luke Kuechly, there's a lot of good defensive. Like, they were just some dogs.
Julius
Julius
Peppers.
Peppers, right? Tampa Bay had um, Derek Brooks, Simeon Rice, and then you had, of course, the Saints. We all know the Saints had, with just to have Drew Brees in general.
Yeah,
And
but the
then there was
Falcons.
the Falcons, right?
Yeah.
That was four teams that, I mean, they were a problem for everybody else in the NFL, right? The one thing that benefited Tom Brady the most out of any of the top QBs is that we played in a division where, and I'll be the first one to admit it, the difference is that we took advantage of it once we got the playoffs. But regular season wise, we had the Jets were in disarray,
Oh
right?
yeah, look at
The
the caliber
Bills,
of team. Like you're
yeah,
saying, the caliber of teams that the Saints had to play every year
yeah.
compared to
That's
the
probably what hurt
Patriots.
Drew Brees' legacy is because he had to play such hard teams
Like the
twice
Patriot,
a year.
y'all's division is a
Yeah, it was an absolute
joke.
joke. I'll be honest. Like the Dolphins, I don't even know how the guy is still the same owner, right? Like the Dolphins are not. They were never. I mean, listen, I don't
And
know how that.
The Bills were doing nothing.
Yeah,
You know, the Bills were nothing, the Dolphins were nothing, and the Jets were nothing
yeah.
at
People
this
forget
time.
like how bad these teams were, right? Like the Bills and like the Jets, Dolphins, and the uh, uh, Jets have only been good recently.
I
Like
mean,
recently,
y'all won the division with a losing record.
yeah,
Like it was
that's
pretty
crazy to
bad.
say. Yeah,
You know, I mean, it was pretty bad.
yeah,
So, I mean, like that's once again, I mean, I don't know if you're gonna agree, but that's why I think Drew Brees is better than Peyton Manning.
yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not. I won't disagree. I don't know if I want to agree yet. Because I do. I will say this. I remember when Drew Brees got traded to the Saints, um, because the Chargers drafted Phillip Rivers, and I remember how much of a shock that was to
No,
everybody because
he
Drew
didn't
Brees
even
was good.
play. He
Yeah,
didn't
he didn't
even
even get to play
play.
much. Yeah,
No, he got drafted and traded.
yeah. No, Drew Brees was already at the Chargers, and he got traded. Am I thinking this backwards?
Drew Brees
Right?
was drafted and traded.
Really? That's how he ended up in New Orleans.
Correct. He never even played a snap with the Chargers.
What? I gotta see this. I gotta see this. He sure did not. 2001 did DNP 2001, 2002. No, I was right. He played with them.
He never
2002.
started.
He's let's see. I don't know why they have an asterisk next to his name. He never started, but he played because he threw for 3,000 yards in 2002 with the Chargers.
Did he start?
They have an asterisk next to his name.
I mean, he's in the
So I don't
Hall
know
of Fame.
why.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
2100. Who? Drew Brees?
Not yet, right?
Not
He's
yet, which
not.
blows my mind.
He wasn't eligible yet.
No, I think this year be his first year of eligibility. What
5
was
years,
his
right?
last year?
20, 2020.
Yeah,
So
so he still has one more year.
this coming year will be. But I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know, man.
he played with them up until I want to say 2005 is when he got traded. So yeah,
Yeah,
2001 2005 he was with the Chargers.
he
So he
didn't play
did
his
decent.
first year. He played 3 years.
He didn't play his first year, but his second, third, and fourth year he played with the Chargers, and then he got traded to New Orleans in 06.
Yeah, he didn't play. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They just didn't like him. I don't know why.
That's the only thing I can think of because it blows my mind thinking that anybody would get rid of Drew Brees. I mean, but then again, also on the flip side, like we're looking retroactively. But even so, at
Mhm.
the time, like it was still a shock that was even a consideration, right? Because I mean, everyone we thought Drew Brees had it in the bag because it was just like, oh, he's
Mhm.
proven the guy can sling it. I mean, what else do you want him to do?
But at the end of the day, like we were saying, the caliber of quarterbacks has dramatically decreased.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
not having a six QB discussion about who's
we
elite.
we were spoiled, man.
We were.
We grew up watching Tom Brady, Drew Brees, um,
Peyton Manning, Ben
Peyton Manning,
Roethlisberger,
Ben Roethlisberger, Philip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers.
Because I don't care what anybody says, Philip Rivers was a beast.
Dude,
Like
he had a dog in him too.
dude was
Golly.
good, man.
Yeah.
And
Brett
then
Favre,
Brett
Aaron
Favre,
Rodgers.
prime Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, prime Aaron Rodgers.
Uh,
Michael Vick. We didn't even
Oh,
talk about
dude,
Michael Vick.
Mike Vick was a
Ruled.
dog, bro.
Ruled. Pun intended. He was a dog.
He was a dog, bro.
Let's see.
Even
Michael
though
Vick.
his stats line is not that good, but he was a dog.
Yeah, I mean, but you gotta factor in that rushing along with that passing. That's the difference for him, like because he was so
Yeah.
mobile. You have the fact, like I mean, I remember one time I was watching him play against the Panthers. I think he set a record for rushing yards in the game, and there was legitimately one of the fastest guys I've ever seen in my life on the football field. The guy just glided, and I remember one time he dove, and for anybody else, I was just like, oh, he's probably gonna be down right here. Michael Vick looked like he floated across the ground like extra 5 yards because he was going so fast that by the time he dove, it was just like he just went like the just the same way when Michael Jordan went up in the air and like he just floated. Michael Vick when he dove just like he floated across the ground before he finally decided to lay himself down. Right?
Something about Michaels, man.
Yeah, it
They,
was
they just float.
Yeah, exactly. Who else did we get to watch? Right,
Vince Young.
Oh yeah, well, Vince Young was very short lived.
Yeah, but he had a good base.
Yeah, I mean, if you put him, you got to put Marcus Mariota in that category. I mean, Russell
He,
Wilson when he first came in the league lit it up in
dude,
Seattle.
was a monster.
Yeah,
he has one of the best deep balls.
Yeah, one of the most gorgeous deep balls. I mean, he put it on a dime.
But you had oh shoot, I just had a name and I can't.
Let's see. Who else did we have? I mean, that's about it. I mean, Tony Romo was solid every year. Eli Manning took 2 Super Bowls from me.
Eli
Stole 2 Super Bowls from me.
Yeah, Eli. Prime Donovan McNabb.
Donovan McNabb, yeah, with the Eagles.
Like
dude.
prime Donovan McNabb was a sight to see.
Yeah, not Andy Dalton. What was the guy that was in?
Who was the quarterback for the Buccaneers back then?
They were in a carousel. They jumped between Garcia and after that they had just a bunch of different guys going through that team. Who
am I thinking about?
I'm trying to think of who was the QB for
Carson
Cincinnati
Palmer wasn't
before.
bad. You know,
Carson
he had
Palmer,
he had some good years, man.
Yeah.
Man, I'm drawing blanks. Tennessee.
Oh,
that was
Tennessee
Vince,
had
that was Vince Young.
No, not Vince Young. They had oh my gosh,
Wasn't Tennessee? But
this.
wasn't Vince Young Tennessee though?
No, Marcus Mariota was Tennessee.
Where did Vince Young play?
No, sorry, Vince Young. I'm thinking Marcus Mariota after he got traded to Tennessee.
Vince Young was Tennessee, right? Yes.
I don't forget this. Who was the QB? Not Sterling. I can't believe I'm forgetting this right now.
What team?
For Tennessee before Vince Young.
I don't know. But you remember prime Alex Smith with Kansas City?
Oh man, I wouldn't even say that was prime Alex Smith. That was more of a solid. His best years.
What about that 1 year with Colin Kaepernick? He ran the table.
He put in work.
Who was Denver's quarterback before Peyton?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're forgetting this right now. Y'all forgive us for not knowing our history. Denver's quarterback before Peyton was. I'm Steve McNair.
Yeah,
Steve McNair is who I was talking about.
But then you had
Steve McNair, Dante Culpepper.
Yes.
Stupid good deep balls.
But then you had, at Detroit, you always had Matthew Stafford lighting it up too.
Matthew Stafford, that's right.
There's been a lot of good quarterbacks, man. You want to hear a crazy stat?
What?
It's a really funny stat. In the history of the Chicago Bears, the Chicago Bears have never had a QB throw for 3,000 yards in one season.
What?
How horrible is that?
Even gunslinger golly, what was his name? Um he's got the wife who has the show.
Look it up.
That's crazy to think.
I promise.
Even Jay Cutler
Yeah,
never threw for more than 3,000. Never threw for 3,000 or more than 3,000.
3,000.
What? Is this a real stat? No, yeah, that's not true. Jay Cutler in his first year in 09 threw for 3,600 yards.
No.
Yeah. He threw for 3,000 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times as a Chicago Bear.
Hold on.
Where did you get that stat from?
A friend told me.
A friend told you? Your friend told you wrong. You don't use Pro Football Reference. PFF is the way to go. Be a part of it.
Hey,
But it's crazy, man, to think that the quarterbacks that we have now in the NFL couldn't hold a candle to the QBs we had back then.
no, it might be. What is that stat?
Maybe the Raiders.
Is it 4? Is it 3,000 or 4?
It might be 4,000.
4,000 is hard to do.
Yeah, it might be 4,000. But a lot of teams have not had guys throw 4,000 yards. Throwing for 4,000 yards is hard. Throwing for 5,000 is even harder.
Well, regardless, we'll cut that little bit.
No, we're gonna leave that in there.
I'm just
We
kidding.
want everybody to see.
I'm just kidding. Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't. It didn't come from me. I got told that, so I just believed it.
Let's talk about some about the NFL right now.
It's in shambles.
We harped on the QBs, and just the overall talent right now. What is, because after this past weekend,
Mm-hmm.
we talked about MVP, potential MVP for the season, right? After this past 2 weeks, I think Jared Goff has kind of fallen off some, and I think Lamar Jackson has really picked up the pace.
Well,
right?
Jared Goff has fallen off not because he's not good; it's because his team around him is so good.
It's so good. Yeah, I agree.
Like, he doesn't have to play elite to win the games because his team is just killing it.
Yeah, they really are. So who would you say? I mean, if here's the thing: Joe Burrow had a fantastic week this past week.
So if I'm talking MVP, right? For me, in my mind, MVP should not be like a favoritism favoritism thing, and it shouldn't be like, oh, who's the bigger name? It should be based off of accolades and also be who is the most valuable player on your team. Like, are you an impactful player that's winning these games for your team?
Yep.
And in my mind, it's right now.
Don't say it. You about to make a mistake. You say it.
What?
Go
ahead. In my mind,
if the award went out today.
If the award went out,
getting it.
If the award went out today, man,
I'll give you mine. I'll tell you right now. If the award went out today, it's definitely getting Lamar Jackson getting it.
Well, I know you
There's
think
no
Lamar.
question about it.
I know you think it's Lamar.
Yeah.
But I mean, is he playing so good because his team's that good? Like you got to look at the weapons he has, man. Like
And he's still killing it though. That's the difference.
I know,
Regardless of
but
what his team has done,
you
he's
got to look at
still.
the you got to look at who he's throwing the ball to as well.
But who's his top receivers, right? You can't, right? Like he's making it work with a lot of guys right now.
Who's his top receivers?
Yeah, who's his top receivers right now?
How do
Like
you
if you look at all the receiving stats in the NFL right now,
come on?
you're not gonna. Let's see
Zay
who we got.
Flowers?
Zay Flowers, number 13 receiver in the NFL.
No, he's
And
not.
yeah,
Zay Flowers number 5 right now.
he's number 13 in receptions. He's number 5 in what, yards?
Yards.
Yeah, because all Lamar those is bombs. I mean, Terry McLaurin is only 50 yards behind him
Who just got
in
traded to the
Washington.
Ravens? Who was that wide receiver that just got traded to the Ravens?
Someone's got traded to the Ravens.
Deontay Johnson.
Oh yeah. From the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the dude's got. He
Well,
has.
he hasn't. Well, I won't say anything yet because Deontay hasn't had an impact yet. So we'll see
No,
how
I
that
know, but I'm
goes.
just saying, like, that's just another guy to take off Zay
Yeah.
Flowers because Deontay Johnson is known to be the best. Is known to run the best routes in the water in the NFL. Like he creates the
Over
most
Justin Jefferson?
Yeah, seriously.
Really?
Look up his separation yards. Like his
Really?
separation is
Oh, he gets
insane.
open.
Yes, so
Yeah,
he had
gotcha.
every route he runs, he has at least 3 to 5 yards of
Being open.
separation.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
that's only going to help Lamar Jackson's case even more. Like I hate it for Jaden, but
I
on the
wasn't gonna
flip
say
side,
Jaden though. I was gonna
oh,
say
you
if
were okay. Gotcha.
no. So I was actually gonna go.
Who
I
you
was
gonna go
actually
with?
gonna go, and it sucks because I'm not going off of wins, and I'm not going like I'm just going off of how they're playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would either go Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, man, because those two dudes are literally the most impactful player on their team.
I see. I would have a
Everybody
hard
else on their
time
team
saying that.
sucks, man. Like they're
I would have
not
a hard
playing
time
well.
saying that because Josh Allen has probably equally just as good receivers.
No, he doesn't.
Dude, he just
Khalil Shakir's is number 1, bro. That's it.
yeah. Khalil Shakir is a good receiver.
N-
I would put Khalil Shakir in the same boat that I put Zay Flowers in.
No,
But that's not even the point. My
no.
thing is that I don't know, right, in terms of MVP for their teams. I don't know that any of these teams would be as good as they are right now if it wasn't for their quarterbacks. So I think I think between Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson, they all equally have as much of an impact on their team as anybody else in this case, right? However,
Yeah.
I will say that in terms of playing good football, out of all three of them, and watching the tape, Lamar Jackson has probably had, outside of the very first game against the Kansas City Chiefs, has had the best season since then. Joe Burrow has been kind of making his way through, and Joe Burrow has been probably directly responsible for a couple of their losses, right?
Mhm.
Josh Allen didn't really have a turnover until recently,
Yeah.
but even still with that going on, he's probably favored, or I won't say favored. He's definitely winning his division, but he's probably going to finish second in that conference to Baltimore if Baltimore continues the way they do.
Well, let me ask you: do you put Jaden Daniels in the conversation at all?
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely, because Jaden Daniels has had a direct impact, because you can see the direct impact that he's had on this team, and that's the reason why I would probably put Jaden Daniels. I definitely have him for Rookie of the Year. It's his to lose for Rookie of the Year. I don't think there's another rookie who comes close to Jaden Daniels' impact on their team. I probably would say if Lamar Jackson doesn't win it, he gets Offensive Player of the Year, and Josh Allen wins it, or vice versa, if that makes sense. The Jared Goff has put himself out of the running, not because he's played bad, but because his team the last 2 weeks has been phenomenal on defense and special teams. So he hasn't really had to do much. So because of that, he's gonna get put out of that conversation. And then on the flip side, you also have to worry about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is potentially a problem. Derrick Henry would be the one thing that hurts Lamar Jackson will be Derrick Henry's season because Derrick Henry's having a really good season as well.
Oh,
And so
100%.
is Saquon Barkley.
Derrick Henry
Did you
just
see
Derrick Henry. Oh, I did. I know what you're talking about.
the backwards hurdle?
Yes.
Which the most impressive part that I didn't even know that was coming. At first, I saw the picture and I was like, "How in the world do you do that?" And I went back and I watched the highlight. 2 sick spin moves before he even gets to that hurdle, and then he does the backwards hurdle. Phenomenal. But even still, going back to the MVP
But Derrick Henry just hit 1,000 yards.
Yeah, that's what's gonna hurt Lamar. Is because
And
Lamar.
you know what's crazy?
Yeah,
Normally it takes a running back all season to get to 1,000 yards.
yes.
Like
Even
1,000
with
yards.
17 games.
Like if you're not running 1,000 yards by the end of the season, you're not really worth nothing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This dude already hit it, and we're like what 10 games in?
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, before when he had to do this, he had to have an insane amount of carries, and he doesn't have to have that anymore. So he's probably running more efficiently now than he's ever had to before because he doesn't have to be the number one guy running the ball anymore.
Well, look where he came
Lamar
from.
Jackson, who's a freak at running the ball in the first place.
Yeah, but look where he came from.
Yeah.
And look at where he's at now. Like the O line that where he was and where he is now is just the Ravens are doing something right. You know
that's
what
true
I mean?
because the Ravens the last several years have had really good running backs because their line has been so good at doing for their run blocking.
Yeah.
And you know what? It makes sense because they have Lamar Jackson. It would make sense that they would be good at run block because they have to be prepared to run block for Lamar at all times. So now that's probably one of the better moves that they did was getting Derrick Henry. And then not to mention, I mean, like you said, making the trade to get Deontay Johnson is a brilliant move by Baltimore. Brilliant move.
The management at Baltimore is top tier.
Really killing it. It'll be competition between Baltimore and Washington for front office awards. That's for sure. I think right now in terms of accolades, Jaden Daniels definitively owns Rookie of the Year, and
hands down. The only reason I have him
owns Coach of the Year as well.
The only reason I have him in the MVP talk is 1, he's good.
Oh, good is an understatement.
And 2, he does not have the weapons that these top tier quarterbacks got.
Yeah, I agree.
Like he's throwing to one guy, like one household name and some randoms. You know what I mean? Like he's still making the plays, and he's still getting
crazy.
It
he's
done.
only got 9 passing touchdowns.
Isn't that
man, crazy?
He only has 2 interceptions though.
Yeah,
he's got like 5 or 6 rushing touchdowns though.
I would say he makes up for his rushing touchdown. But what's really impressive with him, right, is like the stats. Sometimes stats lie, right? The stats don't tell the whole story with Jaden Daniels because when you watch him play, it's not just it's his decision making is so good.
Yeah, and he's accurate, man. He's accurate.
Runs the team, runs the offense. Is it's truly something special. I mean, you're talking about a team that was last in their division last year, who they're probably going to end up winning their division, and there's still at this point in the season there's still potential for them to get the bye. So I mean, the Lions drop the ball and Jaden Daniels gets going. Well, the trade deadline is tomorrow, right, for the NFL? Is it this week?
I didn't even. Yeah.
I don't know if it's tomorrow or not, but I believe this week is the trade deadline. If they can find a way to get another receiver, right? I hate that they're in the same division as Dallas because getting CeeDee Lamb would be a huge win for Jaden Daniels, right? That'd be so good for him, dude. If they could find a way to get Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle from Miami, right? I mean, who else could potentially?
T. Higgins.
He just
got franchised.
Yeah,
He's a great number 2.
great number two. Who else has potential to? I mean, that's really about it. There's not really any other receivers that stick out in my mind.
Well, that's
But
worth anything, really.
yeah, that's
But
yeah.
um,
But a great addition to that team would definitely be T. Higgins or Jalen Waddle.
yeah,
Would be huge pluses for that team because Jalen Waddle's not necessarily having the best season with Miami right now. And he's still in his
no
rookie. He's still in his rookie
contract.
contract. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if Miami will be done. I know it's a reach, guys. Don't take me a word. I know it's a reach to say that they could get Jalen Waddle, but uh, I mean, it could happen. I've seen crazier things happen in the NFL.
I
But
mean, the Washington's cap space is astronomical, so
yeah,
they
they
have a
can afford to
lot.
do it. Yeah,
But I mean, I think he has the potential to be in the conversation for MVP at the end of the year.
yeah. If things
If
keep
he keeps
going,
winning and he throws touchdowns,
yeah.
or rushes touchdowns, like he
Mm-hmm.
has the potential to do it. But the best thing that I really like about Jaden Daniels is not like, well, there's two things. I think he brings back the old mentality of being a quarterback with the vision and the accuracy and just a beautiful deep ball that he has.
Yeah.
Like that's one, and then on the other hand, the kid's just got a great head on his shoulder,
Oh yeah.
and like he goes on national television and just honors God every time.
Mm-hmm.
He's very humble, and it's just he's got a great head on his shoulder.
He really does. Talk
So,
about someone who's sneakily who having a really good season sneakily. Baker Mayfield.
oh yeah, he's falling, but he started hot.
Yeah, he started real hot. I mean, he
But
lost
he
both his top guys are hurt. One of them out for the season, I believe. Um, so we'll see
Chris
how that
Godwin's
goes.
out for sure.
Yeah,
But
Chris Godwin's out for the season.
right now, man, they're beating Kansas City.
Yeah, yeah. Having a heck of a
Can they
game.
knock Kansas City off?
I hope so because I think Pat Mahomes is I think he needs something to shake him up.
Patrick Mahomes is having a horrible year,
Yeah,
bro.
this is not his year at all. He is he's having a time, man. I think a loss would really, or not even a loss. I think a close game against another really good team would really just kind of get something with that team needs to play. I mean, he's only got
Well,
1,600 yards. He's got more interceptions than he's got touchdowns. Tied
oh,
right
I
now,
know.
technically.
Well, I mean, they're the only undefeated team,
Yeah,
and
everybody's gunning for him.
if they lose tonight, which there's a big possibility, but it
Hmm.
just seems like at the end of the game they always just find a way to pull it off,
They do, and
And
that's
it's
that.
just,
Yeah, that's that Tom
uh,
Brady thing too, man. I remember with the Patriots and with Bill Belichick. I mean, there were a lot of games where we just were not in it, and just we found a way to win. So
mm-hmm.
it's taking me crazy. So, but anyways, we've been going for quite a while. There's so much more football we could talk, but we can save it for next week. With next week's episode and dig more into everything else as a whole. But overall, uh, some quick hits before we call it a day. For in this episode, like Chase said at the beginning of this episode, we went to St. Mary's to hang out with his family and watch some college football. Man, let me tell you, how fun was it this weekend? That was a blast.
Oh man, we had a great time.
Yeah, St. Mary's is like I said in a couple podcasts ago, like St. Mary's is a beautiful place, man. It really is. I hate it as a Florida fan that I even congratulate them or even recognize them for having a beautiful city. But I tell you, there's something about now. It's also my love for the water too. I love the ocean in general, and so anytime I can be somewhere where I can just hear the water moving around and I can just see the sky, there's something special about that. My wife is she likes the mountains. She likes the beach as well. Um, but if you gave us a no limit on spending, she probably would pick a home on a lake somewhere. I'm definitely picking a home on the beach. There to me there's nothing quite like being smelling the air just out that way. Oh man, it was a beautiful weekend. It was a beautiful. Thank
It
you to
was.
Chase's parents and Chase for inviting us out there. We've been trying to get this going for quite a while, for a couple of years now, right? And finally, we had an opportunity to do it. And hopefully, we'll make this a tradition. That's the goal: is to make this tradition. Watch the Florida Georgia game together every year and see who wins. It's gonna be Florida
Oh
this year,
yeah.
guys. Florida this year.
Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, we got to sit around a fire. We got play some games, just talk and everything.
Yeah.
Got my sister.
Highlight from this week outside of the game. What was your highlight?
My sister got addicted to bad movie plots.
Bad movie plot. my highlight was so we were playing bad movie plot. Chase's dad was playing bad movie riddles.
He was. No, he was saying, how many words does it take to describe this movie?
That's what he's doing. Yeah, use as little words, few words as possible. Oh man.
And we just kept telling him, like, you have to give us a plot, not a riddle.
Oh, it was hilarious. So funny.
Because he'd make
and then
them
it has
like,
to be in the same decade too, right? Because we won't go into hash out what all the games or all the movies he did, but one of the movies he did, he gave us like a riddle for the movie Apollo 11.
Apollo 13.
Apollo 13. And we asked him when the movie came out, just to help us out. He was like, I think it was like 2010 or 2013. Yo, Apollo 13 came out in 1995. We were like, he was like, if I had given you that year, would you guys have guessed it? I'm like, yes. No one was thinking Apollo 13 because it was in the 90s.
Correct.
We were all thinking of what space movies came out in the 2010s. So that was
another highlight for y'all that follow the podcast. Both know, or y'all know that both I and Travis play guitar, and I took Travis to a local music store in St. Mary's called Jerry Lee's Music, and Travis got a newfound love for Breedlove guitars.
Y'all, if you've never played a Breedlove, you're sleeping on them. Listen. If I didn't think my wife would bury me in St. Mary's, I would have dropped $20-something hundred on a guitar. If I had the money, I was gonna drop like $4,600 on a guitar. These guitars, I played some expensive Taylors and some expensive Martin guitars. I'm talking like 10,000 plus, right? Fantastic guitars. These Breedloves, oh my god, man!
Oh, dude, they outshined any Taylor or Martin that I've heard. To be honest with you, they outshined them all.
Man, listen, I'm gonna have to take you. So I need to take you to play some. Listen, next time I get a chance, next time we get some time, you and I need to plan a trip to Nashville, and I'll take you to some of those guitar stores. I've had the opportunity to play. Like I said, I played some really, really nice guitars in my life, and not just in Nashville, but just all over in general. I've gone to a lot of different stores as I've traveled around, kind of the Southeast and in a couple of different places here and there. But I played some expensive. I think the most expensive guitar I ever played was a '62 Stratocaster. That was 36 grand, and I played that through a Tweedledee Dumble amp, and that was 125 grand. So I played some expensive instruments in my lifetime.
But when it comes to acoustics, would you say those are one of the nicest acoustics you've played?
Yes. The sound on it was absolutely, especially because for the sound that I like to, that's another thing. For the acoustic sound that I prefer, I think Breedlove easily. I would not mind having one of those guitars with me on stage. That's for sure.
Yeah, it had just like it had a real nice like deep tone. Like it had a lot of like
clarity.
It had a lot of lowers sounds. Like in it, and it just sounded so nice.
And
it was just
fantastic.
It's one of the best acoustics I've ever heard.
Yeah,
honestly, and they're made by Tom Bettle, which I didn't know. Tom Bettle owns Breedlove.
Yeah,
but we'll go into that next week, y'all.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that next week. For now, it's been a pleasure, guys. Thank y'all for listening to episode 3. Next week we'll have episode 4 ready for you guys, and we look forward to seeing y'all again. Remember, like, subscribe, share, comment, tell your friends about us, tell your family. We're coming for you.
All episodes drop on Wednesday. Every Wednesday.
Yeah, every Wednesday.
So,
All right. I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.
all right. See y'all later.